After yesterday's deadly attack, we are taking a closer look at safety, personal risk, and what drives these violent attacks. I want to bring in Dr. David Thomas, a professor of forensic studies at Florida Gulf Coast University. Dr. Thomas, thank you so much for being with us. Let's jump right in here. We've seen video of the suspect's truck before it accelerated into the crowds. We've learned that malfunctioning security barriers were removed and the replacements failed to stop the attack. So what could have been done differently at the street level to prevent this?
I think what you'll see in every major city is that usually they take Department of Public Works vehicles, the big trucks, the dump trucks, and they place them in those positions so that they can't, because they're virtually immovable. So that limits somebody's access. Patrol cars, yeah, but not that you would need to do that. You need to go to Public Works in order to be able to make those barriers secure.
All right, let's look at this through the lens of the crowds, the spectators. What can people do? What steps can they take to stay safe at large public events like a New Year's Eve celebration in Bourbon Street?
Well, it's a different America before 9/11, since 9/11. And I think what people really have to do is start having situational awareness. And by that, I mean, they need to pay attention to everything around them. And no matter where they move, they need to look for, they need to be able to have an exit, a path where they can go. So if shots are fired, they know where they're going to go. If there's a place to hide, they know how to hide. It's incumbent upon them to think about that. Now, we don't like to do it, but it's essential, I think, in order for us to survive and kind of enjoy the things that we're used to enjoying without all of these security risks.
Yeah, that situational awareness is so critical. It certainly can save lives, as you've said. Let's switch the focus here for a second. You've studied criminal behavior extensively. What can you tell us about the mindset of someone who carries out an attack like this, and generally who commits these attacks, and why?
Well, in this instance, I would equate this almost to like a school shooter. Something that has happened negatively in somebody's life that they have not been able to come to grips with. And as their life goes on a downward turn, what they end up doing is looking at, they're angry and they're looking at taking it out on somebody else. So the radicalization is very easy to do because it's available on the internet. That information is spewed into our country, it spews into every computer. If somebody just logs in, it's very simple to be able to take that information in and then enjoy it, learn it, and then take action behind it. So that's actually what happens. To say a profile, the profile would be anybody that's having a difficult time and things that have gone wrong in their life and they can't find a way to repair them or fix them and they feel lost. And so that's why they turn to something like this.
There are so many components and layers to this particular investigation. An ISIS flag was found in the suspect's truck, and reports suggest that he was inspired by ISIS to carry out this attack and recently radicalized. How does someone become radicalized, and why is this a growing concern here in the U.S.?
When people lose hope, they're looking for something else. They're looking for something else to drive them, to make them feel better about themselves. And when there's nothing else left, when they have reached the bottom of the barrel, oftentimes what you see is somebody will commit suicide because they can't find a way out. Well, then in this way, this guy's a vet. And oftentimes what you'll find is vets feel that the country has turned their back on them. And so this is what you find. This is the end result of something like that.
Large events are held in cities all across the country, including here in Houston. Houston is hosting the World Cup in 2026. After this attack, what should be top of mind for security planning?
I would go to where the last World Cup was held and figure out what they did. I'm going to tell you right now, the place that seems to get it right all the time is New York City, and those resources that they have. And I would dare say Houston probably has those type of resources financially. But that's where I would go in order to be able to study and understand, and in order to be able to set the stage correctly so that people feel safe.
All the planning and the preparation is so crucial. Dr. David Thomas, appreciate your insight this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.